Subscribe to my channel and also please give your valuable comments. And you can also visit my playlist. In the playlist, I have provided almost all the topics in a very systematic order. You can make use of it. Friends, as you know, we were all discussing about fever in children, and basics parts we have seen. Almost all we have got 3 or 4 parts. And what are the important 5 questions that we have to ask whenever parents comes to you with the child having fever? So first one we have seen the onset of the fever, and we also know what is the importance of the knowing of onset. Onset may be acute, onset may be subacute, or onset may be insidious, or onset may be chronic. Now, if it is an acute fever or high fever, what actually it indicates, and if it is a mild fever, what actually it indicates. So these points we have seen in the last class. Now, before continuing with the next question to be asked to the child with the parents, let us, in short, we will identify the nature of a virus, nature of the bacteria, nature of the parasite, and nature of the other organisms. Now, when we talk about infective fever, either we will have the viruses, either we will have the bacteria, or either we will have the parasites as the basic main categorization. Now, unless and until we know the basic nature of these pathogens, we cannot understand the different types of appearance of fever because of these infections. Suppose I can say a lot of things about viral infection, but I should know about the viral nature. Before talking about bacterial infection, I should know the common nature of the general nature of all the bacteria. Then it helps to understand me regarding the identification of the fever caused by the virus or fever caused by bacteria. So in this regard, so we will today see what is the viral nature. Once you understand the nature of the virus, then rest of the things are quite easy. Now, virus is just like a suicidal bomber. What actually a suicidal bomber will do is he will select such a area which is very vital area, maybe the center of the road, center of the city, temples, or some other areas. So he will go to that particular area and he will blast himself or herself. Okay, so that's the nature of a suicidal bomber. Why? Because he want to cause maximum damage. That is the only intention of a suicidal bomber. He himself will going to die in that particular incident, but he want to cause some more damage. Okay, he want to cause some acute damage to the body. That is his intention. Similarly, virus is just like a suicidal bomber. The nature of the virus is it will go into a very important areas of the body, maybe in the respiratory tract, maybe in the GIT, maybe in the joints, or anywhere in the body, and there it will go into blast itself. So when it will go into blast, what happens is there is production of the lot of chemicals. Lot of chemicals. Now see, virus never produce any toxins. Virus always release the chemicals. So a lot of chemicals will be released. So these chemicals will spread there over the tissue, and tissue undergo damage, and as a result the inflammation takes place and the fever starts. So this is the basic nature of the virus. Okay, it will go into blast himself at a very important area where it gets settled, and it is not even think about the localization and all. Okay, so at one particular point wherever it get admitted inside, and there it will go into blast itself so that the maximum tissue damage can occur. Okay, this is number one, first nature. Okay, so therefore most of the viral fevers are acute onset because at once it will go into blast and a lot of chemicals will be released and a lot of prostaglandins etc. formed, a lot of cytokine surge will be there, and as a result the patient will have the acute fever. Now, another important nature of the virus is a dissemination disease. What is the dissemination disease means? It will first start entering inside, suppose through the nasal area, and as it passes through the upper respiratory tract, it goes on producing multiple symptoms. So when it is there in the nasal area, it will going to produce a nasal blockage, nasal secretions. When they enter into the oral cavity, now it start with the cough, and then it will start the postnasal nasal dripping. Then the oral cavity, there is inflammation of the pharynx, then inflammation of the larynx. Like that, whenever it passes through a particular tract, in throughout the way, it will go on producing the symptoms. Therefore, what we'll get is we'll get multiple symptoms in case of viral infections. Viral infections are not with a single symptom. Bacterial infections may be only single symptom, fever and throat pain, fever and burning nutrition. This is possible in case of bacterial infections. But when you talk about viral infections, you will have multiple symptoms. Okay, fever is there with the cough, fever is there with the nasal blockage, nasal secretions, fever is there with the dyspnea, fever. So multiple symptoms. As it just passing on, it go on producing many symptoms. It depends on the place actually where it get settled. In the GIT, first it start with the vomiting, then it start with the diarrhea, then it start with the abdominal pain, then cramps. So like that, multiple symptoms will be seen. Multiple symptoms will be seen. So therefore, we will call a viral infection is always as a dissemination disease. Okay, it involves all the structures which is coming on its way. When it is passing, what are all the structures which are present in the sideways, which is coming in contact with the virus, so they all get affected and they produce their own symptoms. So we'll say the lot of prodromal symptoms will be produced. A lot of prodromal symptoms will be there, and it's not a single symptom. Multiple symptoms will be there. And what is their intention? Their intention is to cause the maximum damage. That's all. Their intention is to cause the maximum damage. They don't have any intention of doing reproduction. Now, if you talk about bacteria's mentality is different. Bacteria first they want to find a suitable place, favorable place. Then they want to increase their colonies. They want to undergo reproduction. It selects such area where it gets a good amount of nutrition and which is free from the immune cells. So it thinks a lot. It thinks a lot before producing the symptom. Okay, when if it is everything is finalized, everything is favorable, then the bacteria start producing the toxins. But virus is not like that. Virus is not worried about the reproduction. It is not having any DNA, so it is not having any intention of undergoing a reproduction. So not worried about the food and as well as comfort. Whether I am getting a comfortable food, comfortable area. So it is not worried because it is intention. It's just like a suicidal bomber. Its intention itself is to cause the maximum damage. Okay. Now many times these viruses they use the body cellular machinery to carry out its work. Now they are very intelligent virus. Okay. So many times virus do not have any DNA and it are only having RNA. Maximum viruses are having only RNA. Some of the DNA viruses are there like hepatitis B, etc. So they are very dangerous. Okay. Similarly, some of the viruses there with the RNA and reverse transcriptase enzyme they are also dangerous like AIDS virus or even the coronavirus, COVID-19, etc. They are quite dangerous. Otherwise, 99.9% viruses are simple RNA virus. So what they will do is sometimes these viruses they use the body a machinery for their reproduction or to manipulate the things. That means in the body we will have different cells, isn't it? Suppose I'm talking about liver. In the liver we have got hexagonal, the liver cells are there. Liver cells contain their own mitochondria, each cell contain their own mitochondria, chromosomes, etc. Sometimes this virus can enter inside that cell and use that mitochondria or use that chromatins or chromosomes for their development. That's a very dangerous thing. Reverse transcriptase. Okay? If you know about reverse transcriptase enzyme, that reverse transcriptase enzyme, so that will bind to the cellular chromosomes and multiply the viruses. Okay, but unfortunately their number is very less. Such viruses are very less, only 0.5% viruses are there. Okay, so they are not maximum viruses, they are not worried about their food, their comfort, they were not worried about reproduction, etc. Sometimes they may use the cellular machinery to carry out the work. Self-limiting. Now viruses they come, explode themselves, finish. Because there is no colonies formed, there is no reproduction taking place. So therefore most of the viral infections are self-limiting. Because first 1 hour day when they get explode themselves, a lot of chemicals are released, you will have acute fever. Then there is no more viruses left. So now only the repairing process will take place. So by 3 or 4 days this repairing work will take place, and by the time the disease will be self-limiting, fever will come down. But only some of the DNA viruses like hepatitis B, etc. So they are quite dangerous. Otherwise, most of the viruses are self-limiting. Now, this is the nature of the virus. Okay, before identifying the viral fever, we should know this nature. They are just like a suicidal bomber. They explode suddenly, release a lot of chemicals. When they come with the multiple symptoms. There will be multiple symptoms, and they go on infecting the area where it is passing, and whatever the structures which is coming into their way. Lot of prodromal symptoms will be formed, and only intention is to cause the maximum damage. Not worried about reproduction, not worried about their food and comfort, etc. Exceptions are some of the virus which contains DNA virus and some of the virus which contains reverse transcriptase enzyme. They are quite dangerous. Otherwise, maximum 99.95% of the viruses are self-limiting, and only RNA containing virus, they follow this particular nature. So this is about the viral nature. In the next class we will discuss about the bacterial nature. Thank you very much.